from Facebook.
Okay.
All right, there we go.
We are live.
Hey. Good stuff. Welcome.
What's going
Let's get
on?
this thing going. Let me get this party started on Facebook. Let me get the watch party started before we get too deep in the convo.
Okay.
Let's
Sounds
see.
good. Sounds good.
I'm not sure if Marcus, you're able to. Let's see. Let's see if we can get this thing going here. Laquita. All right. Says happening now.
Yeah. It's kind of delayed across a few of the platforms, but
Okay. Don't see it live yet out there. Let's see here. All right. Well, I'm gonna get started talking, and hopefully we'll be able to get this thing streaming here momentarily.
You got your.
Because I don't see it on your page through Facebook yet.
I'm seeing it right now.
Okay.
Just give it a second. There is some time delay with it.
Okay.
I'm seeing it come up on my Facebook because I'm doing a watch party from a separate page.
Okay.
So
well,
I
good
am.
stuff. Good stuff. We got my man Marques Ogden in the place to be, in the center screen. Of course, my co-host Laquita Monley on here. We call this event Create Your Future Self Live. And with the help of technology, we should be able to stream for sure through Facebook, YouTube, I think Periscope, coming soon to LinkedIn. So we got quite a few platforms that are going live with this. And the whole point of this is to talk to different guests about some of their journey and their expertise, and of course, some of the things that they can do to add value to our community. This is a special day for us too. That's why I'm hoping I can get this thing going live to my watch party. I got my man Marques Ogden has personally coached, executive coach myself and Laquita Monley. So you kind of like the reason we're even here today, sir.
Right.
So kind of introduce yourself. This man, I'm gonna give you a quick, brief introduction. Former NFL player. You played with the Ravens, and who else you played for?
Drafted by the Jaguars, played with the Ravens, the Bills, and I finished off before I retired with the Titans.
With the Titans, man, you played with two of the current playoff teams. Well, one of them just dropped out, but but that's all good. And then you went on
25%.
That's right. Then you went on to go and open up a construction company, Caden Construction, and I'm gonna let you get into the details. And so, man, well, as a matter of fact, if you can get your volume any higher, it would be great. I'd love for you to go ahead and introduce yourself to the world out there.
Yeah, my name is Marques Ogden. I'm a former NFL athlete. I started a construction company in 2008. And then grew into the largest African-American subcontracting company for 2 years and back in the mid-2000s. And then in 2013, I got overextended.
He froze up on us.
He just froze up, yeah. He's in Smoky Mountains right now with some bad connection. So hopefully that connection will straighten itself out and he'll be able to pop back into the room.
Yes. You kind of faded. You got stuck for a minute. So the last we heard was, and he fading out again.
Can you hear me now?
See if we can get you in a good spot. A little bit better.
A little bit
now.
Let's see.
I think it's just going to be his connection, Vic. So while that connection is getting sorted out, we could just fill in some of the gaps for the viewers on why Marques is an important guest for us, and how, had it not been for Marques being both of our coaches, Create Your Future Self would have never come to pass, because we probably would not have met each other. And one of the things I want the viewers to take home today, if they don't have a coach or mentor, or don't understand the power of networking, how powerful it is and why you want to take advantage of it.
Absolutely. I mean, super important. This thing has blossomed into so much, and it looks like he dropped out now. So we're going to get it going. Man, I hope he gets back on.
Yeah.
And in this interim, I really do want to make sure we get going. I'm not seeing you live. Are you from your page or on your business page, Laquita?
My business page.
Okay.
From my business page.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Is that better?
That is better, sir. Thank you.
Good.
All right. So go ahead, introduce yourself one more time, sir, for the folks.
Yeah, my name is Marques Ogden. I'm a former NFL athlete. I currently live in Raleigh, North Carolina. After my NFL career, I started a construction company in 2008, and I became the largest African American subcontractor in the city of Baltimore, in the state of Maryland, in the area of site work. And in 2013, I hit a snag and got overextended, and I had to file a Chapter 7 bankruptcy when I over-leveraged and I trusted a client that I shouldn't have, and I went bankrupt in 2013.
Oh, man. Wow. So what year again did you get drafted?
I was drafted in 2003.
2003, okay. And then the first team you went to was
Jaguars.
The Jacksonville Jaguars. So
head coach was Jack Del Rio.
Jack Del Rio, nice. So let's just talk a little bit about just some very briefly football stuff. So tell us a little bit about the journey, how you even got to the NFL.
Well, I played football as a freshman in high school. My brother played as a seventh grader. So I really fell in love with the game from a young age. Our father played at Howard University. So I went to a pretty big high school. I had a good football team, St. John's in Washington, D.C. Kevin Plank, who's the co-founder of Under Armour, went to that high school as well. And I ended up playing football, had a great time. I wasn't really sure if I was going to play much after high school. I got one offer to Howard, which I was excited about because my dad went to Howard, followed him in his footsteps. Got to Howard, things went really, really well. And I ended up, starting as a redshirt freshman with the Bisons at right tackle, had a 4-year career as a starter. And then right before my last year, I remember somebody said, "Hey, Marques, you're on a couple people's draft boards and all this." I had no idea. I'm like, really? So I said, you know what? I'm going to give 1 full year of hard work and market myself to see if I make it to the NFL. If I don't make it, at least I say I gave it my all. And I worked hard and I busted myself, my butt, and I grinded. And I got drafted to the National Football League by Jack Del Rio and James Shack Harris, who was one of the first African-American quarterbacks in the National Football League back in the 60s.
Wow.
Awesome. I was listening to your audiobook because, I was too lazy to read. People don't take that the wrong way. But I was listening to the book yesterday on my way home from my son's 707 match. And it was something that you said in the book that I think conveys really well with entrepreneurship as a whole, even as it pertains to marketing and branding. And there was when you were waiting to be drafted and the emotions that you felt while you were waiting to be drafted. And I know a lot of times I related that to my entrepreneurial journey because sometimes you get impatient and you make the wrong move or you get discouraged. And if you could tell us a little bit about that story. And then the other interesting part of the book was the pretty lady on your first day at when they took you guys down, the pretty lady that was running around the room. And again, that could be said in so many different ways, how even as business opportunities and marketing strategies and things, how it just looks real perfect, but it's not at all.
Well, like you said, when it came to, what happened to me with, everything as far as the waiting game for the NFL, it was a lot. I mean, having to sit there and wait for that phone call and wait for that draft after all you've done to work your tail off and work hard and put yourself in that right position. And the next thing you know, wow, you're trying to be drafted. Wow, you're trying to get this going. And it's a lot. It's a lot of patience. It's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of fortitude. Same thing in business. I was talking to somebody earlier today about, hey, why don't a lot of athletes get on LinkedIn? I said, well, most of the time they want to get on LinkedIn and they want results right away. They want to get that quick hit. They want to have everybody like their post, have all this comments and all this stuff. I'm like, man, I've been on LinkedIn now for 6 years this month. I started in January 2014. 6 years of grinding, putting content out, having nobody like it, a few likes. Then I ended up meeting Dawn through the process, and we started getting more sophisticated. Even when we first got together, it was still a process on how to get that thing going. So really, I tell you all the time, if you're not going to be invested in your business for the long haul, for the inspirational, real change, don't bother doing it. Don't even bother. Because if you're going to do something and you want quick results, go play the lottery. Otherwise, just don't get into business, because that's not real life. Like, it's not like, oh, he was a first-round draft pick in the NFL. He's made it. You know how long he's been playing football? At least 8 years, high school and college. At least 8. Could be a lot long. Could be like 12 or 14 if Pop Warner goes into the mix. So nothing happens overnight. And then the story you had about the interesting person at the symposium is, you know, this girl would walk around the hotel and flirt with guys and all this type of stuff. And everybody would go up to her, asking for her number and all this type of stuff. And she was told to give out fake numbers and all that. And guys like, man, this girl, you seen her walking around? Man, she's so good looking. I gave her my number. She's going to give me a call. And then they had a part of the symposium on AIDS. And she was on stage. And when she got up and said, guys, all of you that hit on me would have no idea, but I'm HIV positive and I have full-blown AIDS. And we were all like, huh? Because they always say, you know, people who have AIDS are going to be looking a certain way, or they're going to have the signs, or to look out for this or that. She had none of that, but she still had the full-blown disease. They were trying to give us an example of what making one bad decision could lead to the rest of your life, living in very dire, or if you're even lucky to continue to live, horrifying situations. So for me, that was a huge wake-up call when that panel came to play, because it's made me realize that just because you look a certain way doesn't mean that you are a certain way. So I stopped looking at people and judging them off the cover. I would get to know people and get to know who they are and make more sound, informed decisions.
And when I heard that, you know, as entrepreneurs, whether you're existing or trying to become one, that's something that's alluring. Like, if you have an entrepreneurial spirit and somebody tell you a good idea, and especially if you're young and inexperienced, and it doesn't have to be young by age, it could just be you just starting out as an entrepreneur. That's how you get sucked into making a decision that you really wouldn't have made, because you don't take the time to do the due diligence. You just look at the outside package, and it sounds good, it looks good, you know, it's in a reputable place, quote, quote, you know. So because I know the NFL didn't have you guys in some low budget, rinky dink place giving you the symposium.
They rent out the entire hotel of a big resort for the entire event.
And so even it all came together to give the appearance of, okay, this person must be legitimate. And that's how sometimes things, when you're in business, that's how things can appear, but it's not actually the case. And if you don't do your due diligence, it's that one decision that you can make, a critical piece, even especially as we're talking about our marketing and branding. If you're not making that right decision, your marketing and branding could literally break you if it's not done properly.
It sure could.
You know, and like I said, you know, one decision can lead to one really bad decision or one really good decision. And where it comes down, and what it comes down to, in my opinion, is your inner circle. Who's giving you the information? Who's giving you that knowledge and or data to help you make that decision? And that's what it really comes down to. And if you're trying to grow a brand or be someone that can have an accountable vision or brand, you better have a great team around you. Otherwise, you will burn out and you will not achieve the high goals that you have for yourself.
Wow.
It's a good point. Good point. So you started out with NFL, did your thing. Obviously, tell us about the transition out of the NFL into your construction company and kind of the mindset that you had to go through, because that's a completely different industry, right? One is sports and one is, construction. So talk a little bit about, I guess, the mentality that you had to go through and how you even got into the construction life.
When my NFL career ended, I had a really hard time adjusting, and I got hooked on alcohol and painkillers and nightlife and everything bad because it was easy. It was right there. I didn't have to think about it. I could get my truck and go downtown Baltimore. I have to worry about it, have a night and come home, and then the next morning, what am I going to do again? I have money in the bank. What's going to have? And then eventually, after about 6 months, I realized that if I keep doing this, I'm going to end up not having any money. And eventually, I'm going to keep just wasting my life and just wasting time. So the mindset came in when I said, I have to try to do something to adapt to not having the structure of the National Football League in my life. And that's when I found the construction business, because I wanted a mindset of something I could get up, be accountable to, accountable for, work hard, and be a servant leader and build something that meant something. And that's what I did with my construction business. And I worked and I interned with other businesses, and I learned and I did things I had to do, and I did grunt work and I did grit work and all this stuff. And it worked. I mean, after the first 3 years of my business, I was I was multi-million-dollar business. In year 4, we were an 8-figure-a-year business. So it worked. The only problem is my mindset shifted to be a businessman after about 6 months to a year. But unfortunately, as the company grew, so did my attitude, so did my bravado. And like I tell people all the time, when you start having success and you stop appreciating people, you stop being humble, you stop doing things that help others, eventually it will catch up with you and you will be in a really bad spot, which is what happened to me.
Wow. So specifically, how did you end up out of the construction business?
Oh, I didn't end up out of it. I was put out of it because I got onto a really bad job and I had to spend about $2 to $2.5. It was somewhere between $2 to $3 million in about 90 days on a project. And when I did that, I was told by the developer and the contractor, "Don't worry, Marcus, we'll take care of you. You know it's extra work, all that." So unfortunately, I took their word and I did not get a contract or some type of written documentation. And when I completed all the extra work and went to get paid, I had no leg to stand on. And they looked at me from across the table right there in downtown Baltimore and said, "Great job, Marcus, but we're not going to pay your change order." And it was denied. And I had to file a Chapter 7 bankruptcy. And look at it like this. January 2012, top of the hill, king of the mountain. We were the best company in Baltimore. Now, of course, this time my ego starts to go through the roof, but we're still number 1 in Baltimore. Took this project on in July. By October, we hit the snag. And by January of 2013, I'm preparing to file a Chapter 7 bankruptcy.
Wow.
Wow.
Man.
So from 1 year to the next year.
Yep, took 1 year.
Drastic
So one year we're at the height, loving it, everything's great. Between January and July, great projects, no issues. Now, of course, my staff started getting some issues as far as following my poor lead, but it didn't hurt anything. And then July, we took the job. October, by October, my best employee leaves the company. We had the snag in October, and then, like I said, by January 2013. Everything's exhausted. $1.5 million line of credit, gone. $25,000 business equity line of credit on my house, gone. $300,000 from a hard money lender, gone. By another close to $50,000 in credit cards that I had available, gone. And then by that time, money in the bank I had, by another close to $500,000, gone. Everything was literally gone in less than 90 days because I was averaging about $100,000 a week in payroll, plus expenses, plus insurance, plus property and equipment and regular costs of doing business. By the time I turned around in January, the bank shut our line down. We had one last chance to have an investor come in, buy out my partner. They were about to sign the papers. We had somebody show up at the door with a notice of trying to put a lien on us. And instead of being honest, my partners told the people, "Oh, that's nothing. That's just the FedEx guy dropping something off." And I'm like, "Dude, you think they're gonna buy that?" No FedEx guy stands there with this huge package and a note from like a courthouse, address on it, trying to just be dropping off something, dropping off, cupcakes. Like this is not gonna. They're not gonna buy that. They're gonna buy it, Marcus. Don't worry. The next day, we get an email from them. Thank you very much. But we know you guys got served papers from a company for a lien. We could tell by the paperwork on the top of the envelope. You all didn't. You weren't honest with us. We're gonna pull away from this deal.
Wow.
And that was it.
Wow.
That was it.
So you said a lot in that segment. So there's a couple of things I want to kind of back up to. One, the contractually, that last big deal for $2 million something, and then you didn't have a leg to stand on when everything kind of fell apart with at the end of that project. So, and I know right now, entrepreneurship is so sexy, it's so cool. Everybody wants to be an entrepreneur, but don't neglect that this is actually a business, and you have to have contracts and you have to have all that stuff lined up properly. So that's one thing. But then the other thing you mentioned in here is once you were successful and it was flowing, not only just in the football, but also in the construction side, you kind of got the big head, you kind of started acting a certain way. And it seemed like when that happened, all the bad luck started happening. Some of the different things you experienced started happening. So, I think that's a very valuable piece of information to folks. We call this create your future self. And we're talking to people who are trying to create their business into this big, luxurious, successful thing. But don't neglect the simple things, the contract, the numbers, and again, keeping yourself grounded so that you can still be able to maintain. So that's really good nuggets, man, that you just dropped right there.
Absolutely. And the other piece that I would add to that is your partner, who you're partnering with, who's in your inner circle. Knowing that they stand for the same things that you stand for, especially when things get tough. It's easy for people to go ahead and do the right thing when things are smooth, but because that partner chose to tell a lie in the worst moment, your saving grace was there. Mm-hmm. And had he been transparent and give them an opportunity to still to know what was going on up front, they possibly still would have done the deal. I mean, I don't know. But they had to already know the extent of your circumstances, but they were still meeting you at the table anyway. Right. But the lie showed lack of integrity and character, which is what they didn't want to be partnered with. And so it's important that the people who are on our team have to display that type of integrity and character throughout, whether cash flow is positive or whether cash flow is negative. You have to be that person who has that type of integrity at all times.
Always.
Good stuff. So talk to some folks out there about your book, The Success Cycle. Let's give us some nuggets from the book, baby.
The Success Cycle. We actually just got our first corporate order today. Nice. Our Red Gold out of Noblesville, Indiana, just ordered a copy of the Success Cycle for their entire each individual on their sales team. So that was our first corporate order put in today for the book. And it's phenomenal because the Success Cycle talks about three main things: ambition, drive, and hard work. Be ambitious in setting goals, set a vision, create a roadmap for your own success. Drive, the inner force to keep going when everybody tells you that you're making a mistake and getting things done. Have that drive, be inspired, not motivated to really go after what you want in life. And then hard work, focus on you, not the competition. Like right now, me and Dawn are up here for an event at Cherokee, North Carolina. We are about as far west in North Carolina you can go without going into Tennessee. That's nice. How far west we are. We're doing this with you right now. We stepped out from a networking event to do this because you all supported us. We want to support you. But more importantly, give some knowledge to people about their own success. And do this. Learn from my mistakes. Like I've told you two all the time. I've made plenty of mistakes in business. And people hire me as their executive coach and speaker to help them not only just know action sets, but what the hell have I done wrong? Like, getting involved with the wrong partner, not getting a signed document for extra work. spending too much money when I shouldn't have. Learning to not. I should have watched the numbers better. So don't just learn from what I'm talking about from an action perspective. Learn from the mistakes, and then
Right.
hard work is all about focusing on you. So many people get caught up in the whole process, with everything else when it comes to, hey, I want to do this. I want to be this successful individual, and I want all this stuff to be done where I'm like, hey, you're going to do this, hey, you're going to do that. Well, that's phenomenal. Everybody wants to have something that they so-called want to have.
Mm-hmm.
But what are you going to do to actually get the work done?
Yeah.
So that's the key. So the success cycle is really a roadmap of vision setting for your ambition, having the drive to get you from A to Z and beyond, and focusing on the hard work perspective so you actually focus on yourself and not the competition.
Right.
Very powerful. Very powerful. So, I mean, did you pull from the football, the construction, a little bit of everything to come up with that concept for yourself?
A little bit of everything. Every time in my life I've had success with football, construction, and as a speaker, executive coach, and author and corporate trainer, the success cycle always played a part. Marketing, sales, branding, everything, it all played a part. So this book talks about different parts of my life that every time I've done something, I've had success because the success cycle was not just in play, it was utilized from start to finish, and then I hit the rinse and repeat cycle and start all over again. So that's why I got from football, construction, and everything else.
Very nice. Yeah.
Nice.
And so go ahead, Quita.
So with that, with having the success cycle, also with sleepless nights, I think that reading both of them will be great. But if they read the sleepless nights, the success cycle is a nice flow over into that, because like you were saying, that a lot of people want to take from the successes that you have, but it's rare that you get the transparencies of the failure and see how you learn from those failures to build yourself up to where you have that success cycle. You have the secrets of your success cycle.
And that's exactly why this book is doing so much better already with sales than Sleepless Nights. Sleepless Nights was our autobiography. It was our story to tell to help get us out there. But this is actually an action step roadmap book for you or anyone that reads it. All you have to do is spend $25, go on Amazon, go on Barnes & Noble, hit the pre-order button. It shows up to your by like January 29th, and then return the page. It's a short read. Like, we didn't make this whole 100,000 word novel. It's like 30,000 or so words. It's a short read, very quaint, and it has tons of action steps, tons of things you can do with taking your own notes and writing your own goals. We wanted this book to be a roadmap for you, whoever is reading it. It does have a little bit about the backstory, where I came from with being from an NFL to construction to a custodian to all that. All that's in the beginning, just so you can get a chance to know who I am. But there's 15 chapters total. 2 are like backstory. The other 13 are geared towards you, the reader, to get from wherever you are to where you want to be in your life.
Nice. And so you mentioned that it's a huge success in sales arenas, to corporate companies that want to build up their sales team. And I guess one of the questions that I have, does it matter what industry they're in? Some people are real estate agents. Some people are selling widgets, doesn't matter, right?
That's the other thing about it. The success cycle played for me in football, construction, speaking. They have nothing in common except for me. That's it. So it doesn't matter what industry. Like Red Gold is a food beverage company. But I've had people buy it from people that are in financial planning, people that are in real estate, people that own Keller Williams franchises, people that own mortgage companies, people that own that are in insurance. I've had people that are in oil and gas buying. I've had people that are all different types, other coaches that have been buying, people that are football coaches. It doesn't matter. The success cycles for anyone any industry that wants to achieve success. It doesn't matter what it is. The success cycle has no prejudice. Doesn't care what color you are, what race you are. Doesn't care your sexual orientation, your age. Doesn't matter. As long as you want to read the book and achieve success and do what the book says and outline the cycle, and most importantly, know where you're trying to go in life, know where you want that GPS to take you, have that plus those three things into the cycle and rinse and repeat, you can have success. That's what it is.
I love that. I need to get that to some of my credit clients, man. They need the ambition to get it cleaned up. They need the drive. They got to work through that, and they definitely got to put in the hard work.
Definitely.
Vic, in 2013, my credit score was a 380.
He was at the bottom of the barrel, baby.
2013, I filed my Chapter 7. It was at a 380. Today it's at like a 750.
Nice.
Right? So again, I was making $8.25 an hour 6 years ago. And now I'm speaking on national stages and having books and have a great team around me. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where you are, who you are, what you do. It matters, are you willing to actually buy a book, read it, and apply the knowledge in the book? Like I tell people all the time, knowledge is power. Applying knowledge is life-changing.
Absolutely. Applying knowledge. There's a difference between having information and then having wisdom to know what to do with the information in order to make that information work for you. Because just my son had this book as a kid called useless information, like just random things that you just know facts. And your experience, someone can read those books and take your experience and begin to make them practical in their life. They could experience their own version of the success cycle.
Exactly.
Because I know, like you were saying, it's not just success is what we define it. So whatever area of business, whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you just want to advance your current career or change your career, that defines success for you. But there's still basic principles that we have to follow in order to achieve that success.
Think about it. If it wasn't good, if entrepreneurs didn't want their staff to read it, they wouldn't buy it for their sales team.
Right.
That's true.
Right.
So it doesn't matter if you're a business owner, if you work in the business, doesn't matter.
Right.
If you just want to elevate from where you are to the next level, whatever that might be, this book is for you. And I tell you all the time, success is just like beauty. It's in the eye of the beholder.
Right. Yeah. And we can't neglect, you mentioned this earlier on with your football journey, from high school and whatnot to college and on into the pros, that, your habits, daily habits, you got to work at this stuff every day. People don't see people practicing all the time. They don't see the grind. They don't see the entrepreneurs working in the middle of the night, putting their marketing strategies together and all these different automations and things. It's really about success or failure can come no matter what you're doing in your daily habits. And so you really do have to put together routines, apply these keys: ambition, drive, hard work, but it has to be consistent. Daily efforts. And just when you feel the weakest is when you really got to push it. And that's where the growth happens. And so, one of those things, for those that joined late, both Laquita and I were your clients, executive coaching clients. And, I joined on in the latter half of 2018, right at the beginning of my book journey. And man, I got to tell you, coming from a corporate world, I really hadn't done much other than, got a couple rental properties, but I was still working my regular 8-to-5 type job. You really helped me to transition my entrepreneur journey and teach me again about LinkedIn and how to get out there. And then the one thing that you always tell me, even as recent as probably last week, you got to stay consistent, man. Stay consistent. Don't give up. Because, if somebody not liking or you're not getting a conversion out of that, stay consistent. Daily habits. You'll get there. You just got to know where you're going. Like you said, that GPS map on. So
yeah, man.
Very great wisdom.
And the book is just like, it challenges you in many ways to achieve greatness. And I'll just say this about marketing. If people don't know you exist, they can never buy your product.
There you go.
Yeah. There you go. They have to know. And then We met the latter part of 2018 as well at a marketing conference, as a matter of fact. It was
in Orlando.
Yep, in Orlando. And that was where I knew the biggest vacuum in my company was in marketing, especially across social media. And that is where after we had that initial conversation, that is where you laser focused in to help me build, is where that vacuum was, and to understand the power of social media and why I needed to maximize particular platforms. And from there, we met Vic, and the power of social media, having the right people in your inner circle as your coach, that makes a really big difference. Our businesses would not be where they are now had it not been through some of the networking connections that we were able to meet with you as our coach. I think we just lost Vic. Yeah, I think he'll pop back in. He was having a connection issue.
So, but yeah, I mean, really, the big thing I want to make sure I leave the audience with is, if you want to have it, you have to work for it. If you don't work for it, then don't expect to get to the level of success that you want. And that's the most important thing. And that's all I want to make sure people understand when they finish, as they leave this talk, is that they have to want it more than anybody else wants. And you have to believe it before you can see it.
Absolutely. So I do have a question, because today was about marketing and branding. I had a conversation. I've had a couple of conversations recently with some business owners, and marketing and branding, a lot of people don't understand it, and they want to try to do it themselves. And there's nothing against it, because if you have to start out doing it yourself, you just have to do it. But can you talk to us a little bit about why is it so important, number one, that we're doing it, and number two, why is it so important to get to a place where you release that to someone else to do it for you?
Branding is about the art of creating a image of a company. Like, it's the image, the logo, the foundation, the mission. That is branding. Marketing is putting that brand or the branding that you've done out to market for potential clients to consume and or buy your products. If you don't market, people will never know you exist. Mm-hmm. So you have to market in order to get things done. And eventually, when your company gets enough clout, success, and things of that nature, you need to put yourself in a position where you actually release that, so you can focus on what you're good at, which is the actual product that you deliver, and let the marketing go to an expert so they can find different ways to social media marketing, digital marketing, SEO, online courses, word search, target search, face-to-face networking, all that stuff. That's exactly what has to be done, most importantly, for sure. As a matter of fact, we're always talking about marketing, photo images, things like that, because that's going to be important for that to be done. That's tomorrow's picture.
Absolutely. And thanks for jumping back in, Vic. What I asked Marcus was to talk a bit, to tell the audience about the importance of marketing and branding, the difference in the two, and also why is it important to get to a place where they release that responsibility to someone else in order to help the growth of their business.
Absolutely. Now, I caught the tail end of that. Thank you very much. My audio dropped out for a second. So with branding, so one thing I do have a question for, because especially on the social media side, I've run into people that are kind of frustrated because they get all the likes and the comments, but they don't see the conversion. What would you give 2 cents of guidance for those folks out there?
You want to look to try to have a 10% conversion on whatever people are doing, either liking or commenting. Don't expect to have high numbers off social media in the beginning. It's not realistic. Mm-hmm. People are just liking your stuff, engaging you to see how you are. Are you looking for that quick sale, or do you want to actually build a relationship? Right. I have sold more books in the last, I don't know how many weeks since it's like our pre-order's been released, just by having casual conversation with someone. I had a guy I was talking to the other day. I needed me to talk to his son about something. I said, man, not a problem here. I'll give him a few minutes of my time. He said, Marques, how can I support you? I said, all right, man, if you want to get a book or anything like that to help get your son, to help him with his goals of achieving high levels of success, please do so. He said, Marques, would I have the link? He bought 2 copies. I mean, it's just been like that, man. Just LinkedIn, talking to people, buying this, buy that. But again, it's not me saying, buy my book. It's me saying, if you want to have success and we're helping each other, here's a way you can help me if you think it can be valuable for you. If not, no skin off my back. I understand. I wish you nothing but success. But I have the same attitude of giving value for people. And if they want something, they can buy something about of our brand to help them. But that's going to be on them. So again, do not expect a high conversion rate in the beginning, because all you're going to do is set yourself up for failure.
Right.
Absolutely. I know we get, as business owners, you get your inbox flooded with these companies that say, I can get you some likes, I can buy you this, I can buy you that. And
right.
Why is that something that entrepreneurs want to stay away from and focus more on their organic followings?
Because it's ghost followers. They're not real. They're not going to buy anything from you. It's just you're trying to buy likes. You're trying to buy attention. And that's not what you need. You need to get real people, real followers, real opportunity for conversion. Buying a bunch of likes is not going to impress people. If you have a picture for months of averaging about 15 likes, then also you have for a week you have like 500 likes a picture. You'll be like, what is this? And then you go the next week to like 15 likes. Like, what the hell is that? I know a guy that does that. Real nice guy. I know a guy that's done that though. I know a guy that buys likes, and it hasn't gotten him anything to what he's been looking for. And it's unfortunate. And I wish people would just go into business doing it the right way, and not look for the quick fix or the long-term gain. Not look for the quick fix or the short-term gain. Yeah. It's a long-term play. It's not it's a marathon. It's not a sprint.
Right. You still have to do the work. I always say, so a lot of the people that are liking ain't looking, and a lot of the people that looking ain't liking. So you can't get caught up with all of that. You got to do the work and put those systems together to make sure that you're tracking your analytics. Like you said, you might get 10% conversions over here. You need to beat the street to do some other marketing, some things like that. So real quick here, we're going to give you opportunity, of course, to drop your contact information. But in the theme of the show, what does your future self look like? Where do you go next?
So what we're working on right now is our online platforms. We're partnering with a guy out of Canada. We're working on our own stuff. We're starting to do a lot more exposure and really working on the online platform that's creating that residual income for us to be able to have more opportunities, get more of our brand out there, and start doing some more international speaking as we start to leverage our book and start to leverage opportunity. We start to leverage people saying, hey, you guys have a great brand. And the success cycle has been very pivotal for us in doing that, to help us broaden our horizons when it comes to our audience, and it comes to what they can get from us as far as value they can put into their pocket or into their table or their office chair to get them to that next level.
Awesome.
Beautiful. That's powerful, man. I'm gonna be looking for your stuff. How do they reach you, man? How do people get the books, the speaking engagements, the executive coaching, everything?
So if they want to get us for any of that stuff, they can go to our website, www.marques, MARQUES Ogden, OGDEN.com. Shoot us a note, reach out to us, connect, speaking engagement, consulting. If you want to buy some books, you can either buy on our website, or you can go online to Amazon or Barnes & Noble, pick it up right there, and it can help you get from where you are now to where you want to be. So, and the links also on our bios, on our social media as well, on our Instagram, it's at Marques Ogden, LinkedIn's Marques Ogden, Facebook's Marques Ogden, Twitter is at Marques_Ogden. Connect with us, go on there, buy the book, drop a review on Amazon. But so far, it's been getting great response, because it's all about helping each individual that reads it achieve greatness with a roadmap that they can look at, they can understand, and get actionable steps to reach their goals at a high level.
Good stuff.
Laquita,
Laquita, how do they reach you? Tell us about this real estate life, Monly, and everything. What we got?
So I can be reached at www.mfile, m5realestatesolutions.com. And just like Vic, I'm also an entrepreneur. I'm a real estate investor. I do have coaching courses where I'm able to help those who want to become real estate investors or themselves already real estate investors scale and grow their business, learn their strategies, what works for them, as well as, yes, we do buy houses.
Nice.
We do buy houses.
Nice.
We do take over mortgage payments. And in this entrepreneurial journey, what I would say is, just to echo what Marcus said about the success cycle, the reason that we chose to start to go in this direction with Create Your Future Self is my husband and I started out not having access to the information that we needed to have access to in order to build and grow as people and as entrepreneurs. So now we're at a position where we understand that giving back is necessary. Right. And so with Create Your Future Self, that's the motive for this platform, to be able to give back some value to those who need it, because at some point along our journey, people did begin to give value to us and give us information that we needed to grow Monthly Innovations and M5 Real Estate Solutions to the places where they are today. And in terms of Monthly Innovations, it is our virtual call center company where we bring on individuals as independent contractors answering inbound customer service calls for some of the nation's leading companies. And I like to say that we're not that company that calls you and tells you your car warranty is out. That's not what we do. Our agents are actual customer service agents who answer inbound calls for our existing clientele. So if you are in need of a job or extra income, look us up at www.monthlyinnovations.com. If you're in need you have a property that you no longer want and you want to get rid of that property, give us a call. Look us up at www.m5realestatesolutions. And if you just simply want to know more about how to become a real estate investor, connect with us on our website. Just go to our contact us form, send us an email, and we will get back to you in 48 hours.
Absolutely. Good stuff. And of course, myself, VictorVJohnson.com. You can connect with me there. Victor V. Johnson on the socials, LinkedIn, Instagram. I help you fix your credit, get into real estate investing. I'm a money mentor. You know, again, the big thing here is about your future self. That's what we love, to teach people how to build and create their future self. Our motto at Nicodon Projects is we heal your past and build your future. We're so honored again, my man, Marques Ogden. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule, off of the book tour, the speaking tour, your executive coaching. I hope people reach out to you. You just dropped a bunch of bombs on us again. Ambition, drive, and hard work, the success cycle. We appreciate you dropping. Any closing remarks, sir?
All I'm going to say is this. At the end of the day, you're not judged by what you do right or wrong. In my opinion, you're judged by how you handle yourself and how you react to things that go on in your life. When something goes on that you don't like, don't overreact. Be cognitive, not emotional. When you're cognitive and think things through, you can achieve greatness. When you're emotional and you get off your track, off your game, that's when bad things happen. So again, be cognitive, not emotional. I'm going to close with that.
Very nice. Good stuff. Awesome. Well, we're here every Monday, right?
Yeah, every Monday at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. Jump on and join us in the conversation. Next week, we have an amazing young guy coming on. I met him when he was actually a kid, and he has grown into becoming a phenomenal teacher, music artist, and entrepreneur. And he's going to come on. He's going to share his story. Many of you that are watching our watch party on my personal page, Mr. Earl L. is Dix. He's going to come on and he's going to share his story. And he's going to give us some nuggets about his journey as an entrepreneur in multiple different platforms. And I know that he'll have some things that'll be really, really helpful to those who are listening, because entrepreneurship, no matter what area of business you're in, some of the principles are the same. Some of the principles are the same to help you get through to your success cycle. So please continue to join us every Monday at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. And we will promise to bring you helpful information that will help you further your future as an entrepreneur.
Absolutely. You can register for free at our Eventbrite, Create Your Future Self Live. Thank you again. We'll see you next week.
All right. Take care.
Later.
All right.